Feeling overwhelmed by shipping complexities and industry jargon? ProShip ParcelCast Unwind is here to help. Join us as we unwind with industry experts, break down complex topics, and make shipping enjoyable with a cocktail in hand. Learn about the latest trends in technology, navigate carrier changes, and gain valuable insights from the pros. ProShip ParcelCast Unwind. It's your one-stop shop for simplifying logistics, one sip at a time. Brought to you by ProShip, the last shipping software you'll ever need.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of ProShip ParcelCast Unwind. Today, we're diving into a critical aspect of enterprise shipping success, the power of partnerships. And we have two fantastic guests joining us for this episode, the partnership puzzle, connecting the pieces for shipping success. So first, a warm welcome to Andrew Sulak, ProShip's new head of partnerships. Cheers, Andrew.
Cheers.
We're thrilled to have you on the team and on the podcast. And then, of course, back with us is ProShip co-founder and regular expert, Justin Kramer. Welcome back, Justin.
Thank you, Katie.
Yep. Andrew, can you give your brand new fans a quick intro?
Sure. My name is Andrew, and I live just outside of Portland, Oregon. Previously spent the last 3 years at Octane, where I worked in both partner management and business development. And on a personal note, I am a major movie buff and a trivia nerd.
Awesome. All right, Justin, can you remind everyone all that you've accomplished so far?
Right. Sometimes I hate to say it because it sounds so long, but basically I've been in the small parcel shipping industry for more than 25 years now. In that process, I've had the privilege of working with some customers who ship a couple hundred a day, all the way up to who ship 3 million parcels a day. As I've done that, I've been able to work with singular systems all the way up to 27 different systems at the same time. And I've been able to work on solutions that cross 4 continents at the same time. So basically a pretty lucky career that I've had here so far.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. So before we dive into the exciting world of partnerships, let's do a quick cheers. We're all bringing our own favorite beverages today to the virtual table. I've got an Athletic Brewing Company sour beer, an NA beer, because I am like 1 week out from delivering a baby. Andrew, what are you sipping on?
I am drinking a Negroni. It is a perfect equal parts concoction of gin, Campari, and sweet vermouth. And I thought it was on theme for today's discussion because all 3 components are pulling their weight to deliver an extraordinary flavor experience.
I love it. And Justin, are you back with your regular?
Absolutely. The fewest ingredients possible. Literally, it's bullet rye and ice. Okay. And sometimes the ice is optional, right? The best part is the one you don't need.
Love it. All right. Well, we'll do a quick cheers. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. All right. Now that we're all refreshed and ready, let's dive into the heart of our discussion. So, Andrew, I want to start with you. For our listeners who are just meeting you, you gave us a little preview, but can you tell us what you'll be focusing on as ProShip's new head of partnerships?
Well, this is my 9th week in the role. So, much of my time has already been spent traveling to trade shows and getting to come see you all at the headquarters. So I don't really want to get into a lot of specifics really early, but I will say that I'm a systems thinker, and I don't want to be tinkering with any changes without understanding how it affects the overall ecosystem, right? That's just a recipe for disaster. So right now, I consider myself in the spin up and observe mode, and eventually, I'm sure there are going to be changes as we're moving into the future. But I did inherit a really strong partnership ecosystem. So I'm going to come at it from a customer-centric mindset. How are we best serving our customers together? And if a component of our partner program isn't serving the best interest of our customers, what do I need to do to get there?
Love it. Love it. All right, Justin, from your perspective as co-founder of ProShip, how important has the concept of partnerships been for ProShip's growth and our success so far?
Oh, absolutely critical. I'm sure that companies like SAP will hate to hear this, but no one piece of software can be all things to all customers. So as we look at the enterprise software stack, which many of you have heard me talk about time and again, we know that we have to have customized solutions to capture orders, do accounting, distribute those orders, control things within the warehouse, and even help that post-shipment customer experience, right? And ProShip wants to communicate with all of those things, and having these partnerships really makes it a lot easier when we run into potential conflicts to deconflict that, to make sure that we continue forward with the entire process. And let's face it, in the end, our customers have the best implementation. Therefore, their customers, the recipients of all these packages, have a tendency to have a significantly better customer experience, and they come back to our customers, and we get this positive cycle that just feeds upon itself.
Yeah, exactly. Building on that, Andrew, one of the key types of partnerships that we often see in our industry is technical partnerships, integrations with other software platforms. How do you see that kind of playing a role in providing a comprehensive solution for shippers, especially?
Well, I think Justin already touched on this a little bit, but the technical integrations that are out there should be allowing shippers to connect the dots across their entire supply chain without having to build everything from scratch or relying on a single vendor to do it all. Technical partnerships, they really allow shippers to combine the specialized tools that they need to get exactly what they need without compromising it or without any kind of redundancy. And on top of that, all of these companies like us and our partners, we're all working on this next big thing. And the shippers get to benefit from that by being ahead of the curve without having to be an innovation engine themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And Justin, you just said how it takes more than just one piece of software to run an enterprise. Can you elaborate a little bit more on why a strong partner ecosystem is so vital, especially for companies, in today's industry?
All right, I'm gonna be a little all over the place here, but stick with me, okay? It feels like shipping is a full contact sport, okay? Unlike football, where we get to stop, set, and go, in the retail world, in the manufacturing world, in the 3PL world, there is no pause, okay? We are always running the ball continuously, okay? And now I'm going to switch, and I'm going to refer to the fact that Andrew is a movie buff, right? It feels like we don't get an opportunity to stop, pull our car over, and actually fix it. Instead, we have to be like the latest two Mad Max movies, right? Fury Road and Furiosa, where in both of them, people literally go into the trucks while they're running and replace broken parts, right? We can't stop shipping as we're going down, we can't stop in February and be like, okay, no shipping for a month, right? That would end our business, right? Instead, we have to crawl under that truck. We have to go forward, find the issues, or find where we want to enhance things. And we have to work together. And under this amount of pressure, right, as the movies do a great job of showing that pressure, right, because the baddies are still coming after them, and there is still pressure, right? Our needs to sell, our needs to meet our customers' expectations, those are continuously pushing forward, and we need to be able to make these changes while that occurs. Well, now imagine doing that without any communication to anybody outside of the customer, right? If we're unable to communicate with the ERP vendors, if we're unable to communicate with WMS vendors, the OMS vendors, the vendors that actually put the e-commerce suites in place, how good of a job are we going to be capable of doing if there's no relationship there to begin with? How much better a job are we going to do when there is a relationship, and one that's already experienced conflict resolution, one that's already gone to where we have known good ways to start any project or to improve projects, right? So this is really where when we look at this thing as a whole, we really get a significantly better experience for our retailer, manufacturer, Department of Defense, pharmaceutical, whatever the shipper actually is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a two-way street there. Andrew, building on that, what are some concrete examples of how a well-integrated partner ecosystem can benefit a shipper?
Well, are you ready for me to take over the rest of this podcast? Because the list is that long. No, naming them all would be its own podcast, so I'm just going to focus on a few of them. I'm going to start with the broadest benefits and really narrow in on the end result. So broadly, Shippers get to leverage the trust that our companies already have established when we have these partnerships. They get the peace of mind knowing that we can deconflict and work together and minimize risk and delays, right? And once our solutions are implemented, these shippers get end-to-end visibility on the parcel delivery. They get real-time insight into their orders, their inventory, the shipments, the tracking, and delivery performance. And what this all boils down to really is that it enables these shippers to perform faster and smarter decision-making. Our integrations allow for synced data flows. So we have tools like automated rate shopping and carrier selection that can be automated with business rules. And when you take out the capability for human error, you are improving your ability to fulfill that order perfectly every time. And the end game here is that you are, in fact, reducing costs. You're eliminating your bottlenecks, you're reducing that human error, and in the case of ProShip, you're getting that parcel delivered at the right time and the lowest cost available to you. I like to say that we're all trying to delight our customers, but this is a game of margins, right? And even saving 1% on your shipping could free up cash flow for other projects like new customer acquisition or reinvestment in the customer experience, right? So the money you're leaving on the table means delays to the projects that could make your product or service the best choice to those end users.
Yeah, exactly. And as we were talking about this in preparing for this podcast, the question of when to partner is a big one that came up for many businesses. Andrew, you mentioned the build, buy, partner model. Can you walk us through that framework and when a company might choose each option in the context specifically of, the supply chain and shipping systems?
That is a huge ask, but I'll try to keep it as short as possible. You generally said there's three options: build, buy, or partner, right? And I like to think of it from the perspective of what's your limitation? Is your limitation money, time, or capability? If you have money to throw at a problem and you want to define your new functionality as a core differentiator out in the market, something that's driving your competitive advantage, then that would make sense to build a new solution. Rather than seek something external. But in our industry, those solutions require deep customization, tight integration to internal systems, or IP ownership. And so when you're building a core differentiator like that, it also takes significant time and resources. So as you can see in our industry today, not a lot of purchasing or building, not a lot of building is happening. A lot of it is done through startups that then get acquired by these larger companies that are looking to build these core differentiators. So companies buy a solution either through the software procurement or the M&A when it's essential but not necessarily core to operations. And when the time to value or cost efficiency are really the top priorities here. Commercial off-the-shelf software, crunching on ice, sorry. It can provide rapid deployment and scalability, and it gives you the access to all of these best practices without having to take on that burden of maintenance or technical debt. So really, when you're buying a solution like that, a company is able to focus on its own core competencies and leverage that proven technology that somebody else with that core competency has already created for you. So you can buy a solution when you're really limited on time and capability, but have excess cash flow to budget towards those purchases. The important thing to keep in mind, though, is that yes, it gets the essentials done, but it may only be an 80% solution, right? It's going to do what you need, but not necessarily what you want. And so lastly, companies are partnering when they need specialized capability that aligns with their goals, but it isn't their core competency. So it's kind of a middle ground between building and buying that is often used when capability isn't core, but it is strategically valuable. And so sometimes that can also lead to mergers and acquisitions activity.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Thanks, Andrew, for breaking that all down for us. Justin, based on your experience, and when have you seen partnerships be especially beneficial for shippers, or even, specifically our customers? I know you said that you've had a lot of experience in the past. So anything you wanna add there?
I definitely have things to add, and I want to say that basically we have another opportunity here, rather than conflict avoidance and resolution and things of that nature. Really, we have the ability to just not have a conflict to begin with, because we've had these partnerships, because we've actually sat down, whether it's a virtual meeting like what we're doing right now from 3 different parts of the country, or whether it's all gathering at either our headquarters or at our partners' headquarters, and actually talking with the people from sales, management, the support teams, and the implementation teams together, so that even before we get to a point where we have conflict, we've already created the appropriate relationships, so that communication can happen. And most importantly, we can talk about where we know we've seen conflict in the past, and we can avoid it in the future. Because if a problem avoided is the best problem out there, right? Because you never knew it happened. It didn't touch your timeline. It didn't touch services, right? So it doesn't touch our costs, and it doesn't touch our ability to deliver in a particular time frame for a customer. So the better the partnership, the fewer issues we have a tendency to run into, the faster we resolve them, and the more likely we are to never see those issues again in the future.
Yeah, that kind of experience is just, invaluable for repeat projects or similar projects. Andrew, we have kind of the foundation laid for what is the partner ecosystem. So now let's look a little closer at ProShip. So what does ProShip look for in a strong partner?
Well, I think Justin touched along a lot of those points that I would want to talk about. So I'm just going to add that a great ProShip partner isn't just technically compatible. They're communicating with us. We are opening up and talking about these issues that exist as early as possible, so that they minimize that risk and don't blow up in anybody's faces, right? So when it comes to a ProShip partner, I would say that communication is really important, but that only happens when companies are strategically aligned and as customer obsessed as we are, right? So we want to enter new verticals together because we do have a shared capability. And I do think that when we are working together and providing a more compelling value proposition, that means that both of our companies can do more than either of us could on our own.
Yeah, exactly. And Justin, you've been around the block a few times. What have you seen that has helped some partnerships bloom and grow and some kind of fizzle out?
It's communication and desire. Okay, that really is. Andrew hit it right on the head there. And let's face it, we're not saying anything anybody doesn't know here. That partnerships have been around since written language, so to speak, right? And always what it comes down to is a way of escalating things that need to get escalated, not escalating things that shouldn't be escalated. I know that sounds odd, but not every molehill is a mountain, right? And really understanding that regardless of whether this is the first time or the 100th time that an integration is occurring between two partners, that because we generally don't get to stop, we don't get a greenfield solution. To go back to my analogy earlier with Furiosa and Fury Road, we're crawling under that truck while it's driving at 60 plus miles an hour. Okay. And I think having the grace to understand that that's happening on both sides of the partnership, right? They don't get the chance to stop and pull over either, right? And having a good partnership, having from the executive level down to the engineer level and the support level, having that partnership where we're used to communicating, where we respect one another, and where we've executed our experiences together, really helps in from long-term roadmap planning all the way down to how do I solve this individual problem, which has just been presented to me 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. And ultimately, our listeners, which are businesses looking to optimize their shipping, their operations, they want to know how all of this impacts them. Andrew, why should they care about the partner ecosystem of their software providers? Why does it matter?
What, that isn't clear already? No, just kidding. So look, a partner ecosystem is going to make or break your company. Earning customer loyalty, that's a battle that we fight together every single time, right? Our partner network is performing all of these post-purchase activities that are designed to delight our consumers. And when a bad delivery experience occurs, the consumers aren't blaming the carrier. They're not blaming ProShip. They're blaming the brand. The brand is the public face that takes it on the chin when a bad experience occurs. So in that regard, I believe that everybody in our partnership ecosystem has a responsibility to the brand because they depend on us for their well-being. And customers have plenty of alternative choices these days.
Sure. How about you, Justin? How do you see this affecting the customer? I know you used the analogy a couple times now of crawling under a moving truck. So how does this partner ecosystem help alleviate some of those risks for customers?
Well, I kind of want to give the anti-story here. Okay. I've participated in nearly 1,000 deployments. Okay. One of those things of just being around for 25 years, right? And in those 1,000 deployments, I've had 2 failures. And it is very clear to me what caused the failure. Okay. The failure was caused by the antithesis of everything that Andrew has been talking about. Okay. No connectivity at any level. Okay. Between us and that vendor. Okay. As a matter of fact, negative, right? When we reached out to the vendor in question, they turned us away. They actually pointed us at consultants. Okay. And because of that, it took us way too long to understand that something we were hoping to do, which is to get destination information in sub 13 seconds. Sub 9 seconds, that it wasn't possible to do that any faster than 13 seconds. And that killed the deal. You can understand why, right? Speed compliance support, we talk about it all the time. 13 seconds is not speed. Okay. So either way, because there was no partnership at any level, whether it be executive, development, support, services, because none of those relationships existed whatsoever, we ended up losing that deployment. And it's something that we definitely took some lessons away from, which is why the partners that we have now, we work so hard dedicating people such as Andrew to ensure that we have multiple points of connection, multiple points of deconfliction, and we don't walk into something going, oh, we can do that, and let's say something ridiculous, we can do that in 10 milliseconds, when we know that just the orchestration of the containers won't allow that to occur, right? So this is more of a negative story that has led to more positives as we've gone forward and taught ProShip really the true value of a solid partnership with others in the enterprise software stack.
Yeah, love it. All right. So we had a really great discussion. I feel like we've laid a lot of foundational blocks. We built on them. We talked about ProShip and ProShip's partnerships. So now it's time for some this or that. While we were talking and prepping for this episode, we were throwing around a lot of movie references. So I've got a fun mix of questions today, blending some movie scenarios with some partnership dilemmas. So, all right, Andrew, you're up first. Would you rather have the ability to perfectly mimic any movie character's voice, even iconic lines like Darth Vader's, "No, I am your father," or have the ability to remember every single movie quote that you have ever heard?
Ooh, I would not in any way want to remember every single movie quote I've ever heard. That just sounds like I would be going crazy. And there's probably a way to hack it where, you could make a movie script that has a lot of technical knowledge or stuff like that, and then I could recall it. But I'm going to say my answer is the first part. Being able to perfectly mimic any character's voice. That sounds like it would be just a fun party trick.
Yeah. How about you, Justin?
The exact opposite, right? Because I would watch every factual movie out there, and that would be the closest I could get to an eidetic memory, right? And as an engineer, I want to remember things correctly. So,
Yeah.
But how do you know it's correct?
Yeah.
Oh, I looked that up, right?
Yeah. All right. Up next, Justin, would you rather live in the whimsical, slightly chaotic world of a Wes Anderson film? Think Grand Budapest Hotel or The Fantastic Mr. Fox, with its unique visuals and quirky characters, or the action-packed, constantly surprising world of a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie?
Oh, okay. You gave me two impossibles, right? I guess I would have to go for whimsical.
Yeah.
Because they break physics in a different way than the Marvel movies do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How about you, Andrew?
Well, I was active duty military for 6 years, and I did deploy to war zones, so I would much rather go to the whimsical, slightly chaotic world of a Wes Anderson film. I've already been there, done that, with the action-packed and constantly surprising world. I don't need that anymore.
Yeah, you've had enough. All right, our last one here. Andrew, would you rather have a personal soundtrack to your life that plays movie scores that fit the moment, or have the ability to fast forward through boring real-life moments like in the Adam Sandler movie Click?
Give me that personal soundtrack right now. You hear that music change, and you know something's about to happen, right?
Yeah.
That's like precognition. Give me that. I'll take it.
How about you, Justin?
Absolutely the soundtrack, and if everybody else can hear it too, all the better. On the other hand, you guys would get really tired of all the techno music. So.
Yeah. Lots of EDM, huh?
Exactly.
All right, so let's look at some more topic-related ones. Justin, here are your two options. Would you rather have the ability to speak every language fluently, like Ryan Reynolds can in The Proposal, or have the tech skills of Neo from The Matrix to instantly understand any software integration?
Okay, I'm going to slightly change that one.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Johnny Mnemonic tech skills. Okay, because The Matrix will just pick on that one later, right? No, seriously though, it would be great to be able to communicate with just about everybody. My world is about technical communication. So if I were literally able to download and therefore grok or truly understand the entire tech specs on another system, that would provide significant value, not only to me from an entertainment level, but to my customers. And so I, of course, have got to go with being the best engineer out there with the ability to download all the tech specs.
Yeah. How about you, Andrew? Are you joining Justin, downloading the tech specs?
Well, Justin, your job is to relate to software systems. My job is to relate to people and systems that people have built. So I'm going to go with speaking every language fluently. Not only would that enable me to travel anywhere in the world that I wanted and not get lost or not be able to talk to anybody, there are a lot of other reasons out there too. Personal fulfillment. I was a linguist in the military, so I already have that language background.
And this is why we combine people in our company.
Right, exactly. Cheers. All right, next one, I'll go to you first, Andrew. Would you rather navigate complex partnership agreements with the persuasive charm of Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, or have the strategic planning abilities of Tony Stark in Avengers to build the perfect partner ecosystem? It's a tough one.
I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't necessarily think that there is a perfect partner ecosystem. You can do all the planning and strategic thinking that you want, but if you can't communicate those ideas to other people, it's just going to fall flat. So I'll take the persuasive charm of Legally Blonde, because bad decisions can always be corrected, but it's very hard to communicate in the right way to your intended audience. You can never take that back.
By the way, first, kudos on amazing movie references. Okay. Okay. And as one would think, the communicator who's over there, I think, versus the tech guy, I'm going to go as Tony Stark all day, every day, because if I can create a better product, it makes it easier for Andrew to communicate about it.
Yeah, love it. All right, last one. Justin, are you traveling to any business conference in the world instantly via Stargate portal, or you have a DeLorean from Back to the Future that allows you to go back and optimize any past partnerships or those 2 failed implementations you talked about? Anything there?
I have many things from the past I regret, and I wouldn't change one of them. Therefore, I'm stargating to, I'm removing all of my travel time, even though sometimes the journey is the destination. Okay. Being able to be in Colorado, then in Florida, then in New York, clearly that would be very helpful to me and not violate my own personal thought that one should never regret one's past.
Yeah. Love it. How about you, Andrew?
Team Stargate all the way. Yeah, it's, well, one, plutonium is really expensive. I don't know how to get my hands on it. So the DeLorean would only have a limited number of uses, right? But a Stargate that will let me go to any business conference in the world, I could, rather than be on Zoom, just walk right over to Justin's house and we could be in the same room recording this together. There is value in collaborating in person together. And if you could eliminate all that travel time, I could use that Stargate portal and go back and take care of my cats whenever I needed to, right? It'd be perfect. It'd be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Love it. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of another insightful discussion. Andrew, Justin, thank you so much for sharing your expertise on the power of partnerships in the enterprise shipping world. It's clear that building strong connections and fostering a robust ecosystem is crucial for success. So, Andrew, as our new head of partnerships, what's one key takeaway that you'd like to leave our listeners with to remember about strategic alliances?
Nobody wins alone in today's economy, right? If you're choosing a company that's going to bring you the best value for your money, then you need to make an effort to understand the ecosystem that you're buying into. ProShip and its partner ecosystem are designed to extend your capabilities, not complicate them. So, we're empowering shippers to build a tailored logistics tech stack that works smarter, faster, and at scale without sacrificing control or speed to value.
Love it. Love it, Andrew. Justin, from your long-standing experience at ProShip, what are your final thoughts for businesses and how they should approach partnerships?
Depth of the partnership matters. Is it just a technical partnership, or is it one where you see marketing, executives, services, and support all communicating together? That really shows the true health and depth of a partnership. And I got to agree with Andrew. How well those partnerships work is just critical to the lifeblood of your enterprise software stack.
All right, awesome. Excellent insights from both of you. To our listeners, we hope that this episode has shed some light on partnerships and navigating the complexities of enterprise shipping. You can learn more about ProShip's approach to partnerships at ProShipping.com and then on our partners page. We encourage all of our listeners to connect with Andrew and Justin on LinkedIn to form some new partnerships. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Happy shipping, happy sipping, and cheers.
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 Thanks for joining us on ProShip ParcelCast Unwind. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a review. We appreciate your thoughts. Looking for even more strategies and solutions to navigate the shipping landscape? Head over to our website at ProShipInc.com. We're not just another software company. We're dedicated to becoming the perfect fit for your unique needs, helping you ship smarter, not harder. Cheers, and see you next time.